only ones being forced from their homes by floodwaters. It's also taking a toll on wildlife. Just look at this fish crossing at a flooded road in Ellsbury. And speaking of that, very fitting before this, Scott Isringhausen with the Illinois Department of Conservation is here, and you know all too well of this water's impact. There was a really important event that was supposed to happen that got canceled.
There sure was. The annual Two Rivers Family Fishing Fair has been canceled. I do not think we're going to have it in the fall, but we'll reschedule it next year for June the 6th. So we're looking forward to making this to be the 30th year, a great event. So sorry we had to cancel it, but it's horrible around the Marquette State Park right now. And
can you kind of speak to, because obviously if you're canceling the event, this is having a huge impact on this area. Can you speak to the impact that it's having?
Oh, it's just devastating. I mean, there's homes that are flooded. We've had a levee break up the road a little ways, so actually about 10,000 acres have been flooded. One of my co-workers, she said for her to drive from the park to go around, it takes her almost 3 hours to get from Marquette State Park actually to Hardin, Illinois, where her home is. And as a matter of fact, in the park's parking lot, we have about 15 boats that are tied up there. People boat from across the river, boat in there in the parking lot, put their truck on dry ground and drive up and around where a lot of folks will work in the St. Louis area. So it's a devastating thing. It's just horrible.
And you know, as devastating as it is, there are always the people that want to go see. They want to see just how high the water is. They want to take their pictures. Is there a way that they can do that without making the problem worse?
There is. As a matter of fact, I mentioned the Marquette State Park, and you have to come in the back way to get to the park, but it's one of the really best places to see the flood. I mean, the park's there, the water's all up in the yard, but a great place to take pictures. The lodge, the restaurant is still open. As a matter of fact, they're even offering great deals through the week for called flood rate. So it's a great place to come and see the flood and be out of harm's way.
And so, you know, Scott's going to talk about this, and, you know, we've been looking at the dates that, you know, the water's finally going to start going back down. And once it does, you know, are we going to see any, we were talking about critters a little bit earlier. What impact is this having on wildlife?
Well, it's having a big impact. Yes, as a matter of fact, I know you really like snakes. We got a little, kind of a little pond that got flooded, and I walked, and I'm not exaggerating, walked around it the other day, actually kind of waded through the water because we had a fence trying to keep the fish inside this pond, and I bet we saw at least 15 snakes in that little pond.
15 snakes.
And I really thought about bringing one for you, but
just for me?
Just
wow,
for you.
That makes me feel special. There you go. And you said that this is actually not a bad thing for the fish. You were
well,
saying that.
Yes and no. Whenever I say it's not bad, the one positive to this is you realize when this water gets up real high, if it stays up for a long time, when the fish spawn in the brushy areas, the spawn is really good because the fish have a great place to hide, and their babies can reproduce in there, and the predators don't get them there as much. But there's bad things that can happen as well. They can get trapped in places, and things can happen. So there's some good and there's some bad with that.
And about how long do you think we're going to see this impact this way? When will this kind of level out?
Well, I don't know, and your meteorologist probably has a better idea than me. But I was around during the '93 flood, and it lasted for several months. So I think we're in for the long haul. You know, I think the flood, could be over the road in front of the park for, another month, maybe longer. Who knows? It's hard to tell. It depends on the weather, but potentially it could be going on for a long time.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us. And when we're talking about all this, one of the big things we're looking at is rainfall. We've seen a break from that rainfall. So Scott's going to show us now how long this is going to last.